Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, friends and colleagues from across the world. Today, for our second session Podinar, we have a very special guest. Many of you guys in the US and Europe are already familiar with Dr. Christopher Phelps. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Phelps.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So I've been excited about this Podinar for quite some time because we love having dental entrepreneurs that are practicing dentists on the show. There's a lot of wisdom to take away from that. But before I get to the wonderful career that Dr. Phelps has had in the 17 years he's been in private practice, I just wanted to extend a unique thing that we're doing today. We have more and more companies that are coming to the table. They're offering specials for the doctor-to-doctor movement. This is expanding dramatically now, drastically, I should say. Particularly Walters Clover, you guys know a lot of the products that they put out through lexicoms that are for drug interactions and many other informative things. They're doing a blanket 25% discount of all of their products for anyone that is on our platforms or within our networks, from the American Academy of Oral Surgery that we operate, and the code for that is AAOS 25. And also for the online products, AAOS 10. I don't know how many of you guys use those, but I used to use that a lot for anything like oral pharmacology type scenario, e-prescribing solutions, etc. It's really neat. And then Simplify, for those that are in dental technology, you might have noticed they were Celerant's best of class electees. They got some unique stuff going on pertaining your website and ability to respond to patients, and they're extending to us this time complete all-in-one solution for your front desk with 24/7 live chat and responses in almost any language to a patient that comes onto your site. And it's all for 0% merchant fees. Just so you guys know, we don't have any financial interest in any of this. This is just what we're going to start doing and getting more good products and services into your hands that will enable you and empower you to do better in your clinical practice. With that said, feel free to go on their website and sign up for it. And as to today's, we also have another entrepreneurial product, two of them actually we want to talk about. But let's familiarize Dr. Phelps a little bit with our audience. Dr. Phelps is a general dentist. Christopher Phelps is also an Amazon best-selling author who practices in Charlotte, North Carolina. Love going to Charlotte, beautiful city. The book is titled Grow Your Dental Membership Plan, and you can get it on Amazon and other places. So Dr. Phelps started just like us, most of us, in his first 7 years of being in private practice. He did things a little bit differently. He had reached up to 4 offices, and he took his practice and 10x, going from the time he acquired them to the time he sold 2 of them off. And I can feel what he did from going from 1 practice, taking the revenue, starting another practice, and then growing into 4 practices. You sort of get consumed with the day-to-day operation. You're practicing 5 days, you're doing business. So he sold off 2 of his practices and changed his philosophy and focusing on maximizing the revenues in those 2 practices and having more free time with him, for his hobbies and his family and so on. And when the thought process apparently changed from volume to quality, he started thinking about solutions for our colleagues from experiences that he had. Particularly, I'm really familiar with Golden Goose scheduling programs, and he has also had become a certified trainer from the Cialdini method that is a science of influence and persuasion to solve problems in a dental practice, which is half the trick when you're trying to put a treatment plan out that insurance, especially insurance, might not cover. So you have to actually make the patients understand the value of what care you're providing. So Doc is not doing this. He's a frequent season lecturer in various countries in Europe as well as in the U.S. So Doc, does that pretty much summarize a portion of your career?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm an entrepreneur who happens to be a pretty good dentist.
Wonderful. Entrepreneur. A lot of our colleagues want to be entrepreneurs. What drove you? How did you get there?
Well, it's interesting. I made the decision that I wanted to be a dentist when I was in the seventh grade in middle school here in the States. And because a buddy of mine invited me to a Future Dentist of America club meeting that his mom signed him up for because she was tired of us sitting around the house playing video games, right? And he asked me if I wanted to go with him because he didn't want to go by himself. And I was like, yeah, sure. What am I doing? I'll check this thing out. And we went to a dentist office and kind of did a tour, and he showed us slideshows of how he helps people, and he kind of had all of his extraction stuff laid out for us and his implant tools for putting blade implants in back in the day. And I just looked at that stuff and I thought, oh, that's cool. This is what I want to do when I grow up. So I kind of made that commitment early on in life, and it would help me stay focused to get there. So I felt like my purpose was always to treat my patients and be the best dentist I could be clinically and whatnot. But my actions kept showing something different. And the more I learned about myself and the way I was kind of built instinctively, I met a woman named Kathy Kolbe, Kolbe, who started this assessment test called Kolbe. And she had looked at 4 little numbers on me that I had taken after my tests. And I said, hey, Kathy, I'm Chris. I'm a dentist. Nice to meet you. And she said, Chris, I'll stop you right there. You're not a dentist. And I was like, pretty sure I'm a dentist. And she goes, no, your numbers tell me you're an entrepreneur who's using dentistry as his vehicle. And I was like, ooh, interesting. So picture like the kind of car that you have, right? So we're all instinctively built a certain way. We're all a car. You're an SUV, you're a Ferrari, you're whatever. Okay. And that doesn't usually change in life. You don't change the type of car that you are. So she said, I'd be willing to bet that you have another business outside of your dental practice. And I was like, well, I mean, I have 4 dental practices. So yeah, I'm an entrepreneur by definition, multiple businesses. And she goes, no, I'd be willing to bet you got another business outside of the practice of dentistry itself. And that was right when I'd started a tracking company called Call Tracker ROI. And I was like, oh, guilty. She goes, see, you can't fight how you're built, right? And so I found this dichotomy of, I wanted to treat my patients, but my actions kept pulling me further and further away from the chair. And so when I finally recognized, the kind of car that I am and just what I'm going to do long term, I decided to make some changes and focus on my strengths, right? And then delegating all of my challenges and weaknesses. So that's when everything changed.
Very smart. I always say that we have doctors that branch off in all the different disciplines, from being entrepreneurial to becoming accountants and lawyers and other professions. There's a lot of them out there. And it's always a nice way of learning from them because they can relate a lot more to our settings than outside professionals can. So it started with the tracking, and then one thing led to another. A lot of dentists think that, hey, I set up 5 offices, I retire, it's easy, I'll be in the Aspen, whatever, skiing. It's not that easy. You owned 4 offices, I owned multi-practices, and it is very, very hard. There's a lot more, all the stress is kind of increasing. It gets worse after 5 of them, and then after, it's not easy. So at what point did you say something needed to change? I needed to get more lean.
Yeah, well, for me, it was more my second son had been born, and my wife kind of needed me more at home to help out with him in the early stages, and I found myself with no margin of time. Right, I couldn't do it. I could, between doing 5 days of clinical dentistry and making all the decisions for the multiple offices, and I've always had a passion in marketing, so running all the marketing campaigns and everything. I couldn't do it anymore, right? And I realized that I'd basically trapped myself in my own business as a result, and that I had to change. I had to get more margin time.
I thought it was very draining. I mean, financially it's good and it's nice, but it's very draining on the other things in life that are just as important or more important sometimes, like family. So okay, Golden Goose scheduling. So you had these 4 practices. You noticed things you could do better. Where did technology come behind it? Did you make it? Did you outsource it? What did you end up structuring the Golden Goose scheduling program? And what does it
Yes.
entail?
Yeah, Golden Goose Scheduling is a new patient scheduling service. So we're dedicated to only answering new patient calls, scheduling those new patient calls, and influencing those patients to show up to your offices. And it really developed out of after I developed the tracking program, because I was tracking not only my own marketing in my office, but I was tracking marketing for dentists all over the country, in the UK and Australia and Canada. And I kept seeing the same pattern that we all have, is that we have a hard time answering a new patient phone call. The average office doesn't answer, this is pre-COVID, of course, but doesn't answer a third of the new patient phone calls for marketing ad sources they paid for. If they spend more than $2,000 a month in marketing, it's like half. It's like 50%. We don't even answer. And if the team does answer, they were only scheduling like 34% of the time. So about a third. So a lot of opportunity disappearing. And even though I provided docs phone training and I had solutions to that problem to get their conversions up and gave them some tips on answering more calls, I just kept hearing from them. They were like, doc, if your team just did it for us, we'd pay for it. Why don't you just have your team answer it for us and schedule? And I thought, you know what, I need to stop being the messenger and showing people that they've got problems with the tracking, and I need to create the solution to the problem. So that's where the scheduling service came out. And through my tracking company, I got a sneak peek of what all the dental call centers were doing at the time and their results, because my clients were using them and I was tracking it. And I found that the dental call centers were dropping the ball. They were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. They were not answering a significant number of new patient calls for dentists like they're supposed to be. And their conversions were worse than our teams. So, I mean, I guess it's better than nobody answering, but not much better, right? So, I don't go looking for a problem, but when I find one, I'm like a dog with a bone. I can't shake it until I figure it out. And so I studied this idea of why they were doing it wrong for a while, and then decided I'm going to make my own service and we're going to do it the right way and focus on quality, which is what we've done. My team, the average call center schedules 17 to 24% on fee for service patients, which is the highest, hardest one to convert, if you will. My team averages over 90% conversions, with the highest show rate in the industry today. So,
Wow. So who generates the new? How do you know the new calls are coming in? Are you guys? How do you track that? Is that somehow connected to the software? You know what
yeah,
patients are existing, or
definitely. It's really easy. It's either if if they have marketing going on, they can they can forward the phone number to us, so we know it's from a marketing source, so it's probably a new patient. But usually we just have them turn their phone line in what they call an IVR tree. So you call
sure.
the office and it's like, hey, press 1 if you're existing client, press 2 if you're new. And then if it's new, then the office has a choice. They can go to us as backup, so it can ring a couple times. And if your team doesn't grab it, then it goes to us to get for you. Or we can be first in line, if we're better at converting and whatnot. So you kind of have a choice there.
That's pretty cool. I'm looking at your different packages. I remember for us, I remember 2000 a month. Other call centers. Yeah, so other call centers they do it per call, and then there's nothing guaranteed, and train the staff to say and do the right things with patients is another headache. I presume this is your field of expertise and makes all of those challenges a little easier. Tell us about the value creation of going through Golden Goose. This is actually a pretty brilliant idea on doing it tailored to dental patients. But yeah, tell us a little bit more.
Well, it all started with this idea of I wanted it to be fair, right? And every call center I studied, you get charged no matter what, right? Every time they pick up the phone, you're getting charged for that. But you may not get the result. The person may not walk in the door, right? So I saw a disconnect there. So I try to make ours a little more fair where, we have a monthly fee, which I think is reasonable, then a per patient charge, but we only charge you that per patient charge if they show up. So if they don't show, then we don't charge you that. Because in my mind, my team didn't do what they were supposed to influence these people to show up and do what they said they were going to do. So the difference in the value proposition is, one of the things you mentioned is I'm a Cialdini method certified trainer. So I got to study under Dr. Robert Cialdini, who's kind of the foremost expert in the world on the science of influence and ethical persuasion, and just, behavioral science research into what people are actually using in the moments leading up to and the moment they actually make their decision. And so I've trained all of my team members and my agents in the influence principles, how to present these offices, our clients, as the authorities, the experts in their area, to reassure that patient that they called the right office to make their appointments, to add social proof and say, hey, we've got hundreds of people trying to call this doctor. You made a great choice. Adding scarcity, right? They have limited appointments available, but we're going to get you in. So really, and then getting more commitments out of them on the telephone, so they will show up for their appointment, So the no-show rates, I'm comfortable guaranteeing the no-show guarantee because I know if my team schedules them, they're going to show.
That's awesome. So Chris, is, a call center is, there's no personal touch to it. Do you have a big staff? Do you have a call center setting? Do you train them yourself? How does that all work? Or do you have a book that they go through?
Yeah, they're all trained. They all go through the influence principle training by me. I've got a series of telephone training that I provided all my call tracker clients anyway. So they go through my telephone training, scripting and guidelines, and then ultimately we monitor them. So one of the other big reasons I found call centers drop the ball is they don't review very many of the calls that they handle for us. In fact, one of them I know in particular, a single agent might handle 200 calls a day for different clients throughout the U.S., but they only review 2 of those calls of the 200 for quality assurance. And they're actually the team members bonus based on how they did on those random 2 calls. But if you're scheduling for a Medicaid office, like a state supported or government supported program, there's no barrier to entry there. That's an easy schedule versus a fee for service client is a lot harder, right? So that's not really representative of that person's true ability. So my team, what I decided to do was the most important ones are the ones we didn't schedule. So every phone call my team and agent does not make an appointment for our clients, we have a communications manager that reviews every one of those calls with them for quality training and see if there's anything we could have done differently. They're going to make sure that they do that the next time.
Smart. So, what is the retargeting all about? Tell us a little bit about that. How does that work the best? And how do we retarget someone? Is that all part of the package? You provide for all that?
No, we're not providing any marketing services whatsoever for people. My thing is, I don't care what you're spending your money on in the marketing arena. I just want to get you a better ROI by answering and scheduling more calls on your behalf, right? Then everybody wins in that scenario.
I see. Yeah, it's pretty valuable. I was looking at that. It's not that expensive. Sometimes I ask a doctor how much do you spend for a new patient acquisition. He or she will say $300-400. Sometimes, depending on your type of practice you have. Some fee-for-service settings. So for what you're offering per patient, that's good. And then you verify that they showed up, and very nice. All right. I think that you have a niche way of doing things a little differently. How many clients have you? How long has this been in operation, and how many clients have you had over the years?
Yeah, so we're 4 years into it, so we're still fairly young as a company goes, and we're handling about 200 offices right now throughout the United States and Canada. And we try to limit the number of agents. This is how we make it more personable. So, if a call comes in, my team knows whose office they're answering for. So they answer it as if they're at their front desk, and they know everything about that office. So it makes it more personable. We invoke the liking principle from Dr. Cialdini, highlight connections and similarities, and make sure that they're going to like the doctor that they're going to be scheduling that appointment for.
How long was the program in this in the persuasion? This is a very interesting topic to me.
Yeah, so persuasion is an interesting thing. So, when I had sold my 2 best offices and I took over my 2 worst offices, so the highest debt, least producing ones, I did that because I felt like if I could get back to doing it my way and I kind of freed up my partners to be happier elsewhere, that I could do more with those 2 than I did with the 4, right? And have more time on top of that. And it was right when I heard, but I had all kinds of fires going on in those 2 offices. One hadn't grown in revenue at all for 3 years straight. Another one was a brand new office I'd started that was collecting around $35,000 a month with 1 associate, 1 hygienist, but it was costing me $70,000 a month in expense. So $70,000 going out the door and only $35,000 coming back in is not a fun check to write every month. So I tell you what that is, though, is a powerful motivator to not let things get in your way and figure out what the heck's going on. So that's when I heard Dr. Robert Cialdini speak for the first time on his 6 principles of influence and persuasion. And these universal things that all of us can tap into because they speak to the heart of why we take action. What are we really leaning on the majority of the time to make our decisions? And I felt like it was important, especially in the dental space, because the truth is, our patients barely understand what we're telling them, right? When we're trying to
Yep.
educate on the facts of their dental case, and we're asking them to make a decision based on that, right? An educated decision when they don't half understand it, but they still need something to tap into to lean on and make a decision. And what we haven't realized is it's these other six principles. And most of the time, we're not tapping into them at all. And we're letting the patient control what our prices are compared to what they spend in their life, what they want, so to speak. And we tend to lose more often than not. So I went to Cialdini after I heard him speak, and I thought, all right, this guy knows what he's the authority in this. I got to go learn from the best, and have been very fortunate. I've been a trainer for him now for 6 years, and we had a lot of growth. I took those two offices from 1.6 million to 6 million in 3 years by implementing these principles into my practice and those practices. So a lot of growth, and what's exciting about it is because we've got members here from all over the world. These principles apply universally. So it doesn't matter what culture you are, or what religion you are, who your parents were, what continent you grew up on. Okay, these things are the main six things that we look to make our decisions. So all of us can.
I was asking in the green room if you're gonna offer these services internationally. You just clarified that you're a younger organization. Is that in the plans to be able to take these ideas into different areas?
Yeah, definitely. We've scouted out some tentative locations in the UK and Australia for now as our first launching points, if you will. And then, yeah, who knows if there's demand? Sometimes we'll take minority investors that are dentists in those areas, then that want to help us be a part of that. Then sure, we're willing to talk. I feel like our process is universal. Like we can take it anywhere.
Yeah, you've been a practice owner, you've been an entrepreneur. A lot of the kids and colleagues of ours from the past, then manual dexterity and your knowledge are one thing, but in a business setting, half the equation is also running a solid business and having that acumen to communicate with patients and have the patients like you, which changes everything, and trust you. So that's half the equation, right? So I don't think there's any question about demand, because you and I both know that business is not very well taught in any kind of educational, professional educational setting, universities and so forth. So it's definitely demand, but the question is how to get it into also not necessarily just Europe, but other countries. I think this is a big problem that you're talking about. Half the calls not being really answered and people not following up with them. That's a tremendous amount of revenue lost, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, think about it. It all starts like at the chair with case acceptance, and you could spend all your money and become the best clinician ever. But if you can't get people back for treatment, it's a wasted expense. You could spend all the money in the world on marketing, but if you can't get them back for treatment, it's a wasted expense. And if you can't even get them in the door because you didn't answer the phone or made an appointment, it is really a wasted expense. So there's so many touch points where we're just bleeding money and wasting opportunities that we don't see. And then, like you said, it's a universal problem. We all have it. We all go through it and face it.
So what happens with these patients? Are you saying that you're not aware of what the front desk is doing and they just go through the cracks and all of the marketing dollars are wasted? And is that basically what?
Exactly. And the truth of the matter is two things. Number one, we don't hear about it because it's not human nature to shoot yourself in the foot. So you're never going to have your team member come to you and say, "Oh, sorry, doc, I didn't answer 40 new patient calls for you last month. My bad." Right? They're just not going to do that. Secondly, they just don't know. Most of you, because you're not tracking the stuff, you don't know what you don't know. So you don't see it happening. So out of sight, out of mind, right? You just see who's coming in. And if you're marginally busy enough, it satisfies you. You don't care. But it is happening. And the third thing is it's not the team's fault, right? There's a thousand things that the front desk is doing that they should not be doing. That's distracting them from what I feel like is the most important goal, which is obviously taking care of the existing patients, making sure the existing patients have the best experience possible and make their next appointment. And so because we've distracted them with new patient calls and insurance stuff and confirming appointments,
breakdowns, insurance breakdowns.
It's, you when you multitask and shift your focus like that, you just do everything okay, right? You're a jack of all trades and a master of none, so to speak. And so we waste opportunity as a result.
Jack of trades, yeah, that can happen. And Do you recommend outsourcing some of the front desk stuff to like experts? I've been trying that for about a year and a half now, and like the stuff that you wouldn't want the front desk to do. Is that what you recommend? Like insurance tasks to third parties that do this kind of work?
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I did, right? So even though my team were scheduling at my own office were over 84% conversions with new patient calls and did a good job answering, I still outsourced it to my Golden Goose scheduling. I still got it off their plates. I got all the insurance stuff off their plates, and nobody at the office had to mess with it. We automated all the confirmation stuff, so they didn't have to mess with it. So it freed up my team's time to help me focus on the existing patients, the ones that were there in that office today. And as I said, make sure we communicate well with them, make sure they have a great experience, make sure we get the Google review, the referrals, and making sure we're getting them back for treatment.
Smart. I'm actually kind of interested in testing this the system. You know, you have a lot of guys on social media that are experts now in getting you new patients that have either never been in a medical or dental setting before, or have this kind of a background. So it's nice that it's coming from a dentist, and the system is designed to really focus and help us. You know, we are having a meeting today with a large group of our regents and ambassadors and different chairs and different organizations about finding solutions to increase business acumen of doctors, because the MBA programs out there and the existing programs don't really focus on what the doctor's needs are. Like when you get out of school, how to eliminate your debt, how to invest, how to accumulate wealth for yourself and your family, and how to retire, how to set yourself up. So it's good that programs that come out of doctors, that come from doctors, they're a lot more oriented to solving problems that we face every day versus, you know, a lot of things that could be outsourced to experts that are in the field. So I find it to be actually much more beneficial financially to outsource that stuff, because not just the dollar, it's the headache and everything else that goes with it, and trying to find things, figure things out. So what is your take on all this?
Yeah, I mean, like when I look at outsourcing, I always look at I like investments, not expenses, right? And unfortunately in dentistry, we've been trained that every dollar that goes out the door is an expense that's costing us. When in fact, when I look at things like scheduling, right, should be an investment. So even though, yeah, I'm paying for this service, I'm going to watch my revenue. I'm going to watch my new patient count. And if my new patient count's going up, if the overall revenue is going up more than what I'm paying for the service, it's an investment. It's doing something we couldn't do on our own. If I'm outsourcing the insurance, okay, yeah, that's a cost today. But if our revenue is going up overall because the patient has a better experience who's at the office and more people come back for treatment than they would have otherwise, great. Then it's an investment. So I'm a big fan of making sure docs understand that big difference. What's really an investment versus an expense? And you can track that and watch it and know very quickly what is what.
Very nice. So you said the number. So if I wanted to run a marketing campaign now locally, I would get a special number that would essentially be connected to your system, and that's how you guys would be able to see um, the new incoming calls, new patients, versus the other alternative was to set up the phone to a one or two new patient, existing patient. Very good. So that's how you track it.
Yeah.
While you guys been doing that, do you have any particular marketing strategies that I know you don't do marketing per se, but that integrates best with your system?
Yeah, so what I've been teaching docs right now is this COVID virus that's affected us worldwide has kind of, from a behavioral science standpoint, has created two mindsets out there. Okay, now, and we need to understand these mindsets, and then whatever you're using, what medium you're using to market, online, direct mail, right, radio, I don't care, whatever medium you're using, you still need to know the right messages to put out there to capture the attention of your ideal patient, your target market. So while I don't run marketing campaigns for people, I do train dentists how to do marketing and give them advice and whatnot on that. So understanding these two mindsets right now, before COVID, the breakup, the mindset of the patient that came into the dental office was somebody who either was a reactive person, meaning they wanted to wait until the problems got worse, If it didn't hurt them today, they were okay with that, versus those who were a proactive mindset. Okay, somebody who wants to do the filling in the crown today, so it doesn't turn into a root canal or an implant or something down the road. And most of our practices, 80% were filled with proactive mindset patients, and then we left about 20% of the room for the reactive folks. But now that COVID has hit, it's almost like flipped the paradigm. So we're shut down for several months here in the States, in North Carolina, for instance, and we opened the door, and we weren't sure if anybody was going to come back. And lo and behold, the office was flooded with people. I mean, we have been so busy. We're actually going to be in the office I'm working at. We're going to be, we're up 15% over last year, despite being shut down for 2 months. Okay. And most of that's come within the last 3 months of being opening. Okay. Just this huge surge of demand coming in from these reactive patients. That's what I'm calling now a risk tolerant patient. So these are the first people that when the doors opened, they were there. They're the ones that they're not wearing a mask. They don't care about any of the precautions you're taking. They're the first ones to go to the restaurants when the restaurants open back up, or to a sporting event, whatnot. And for the longest time, they didn't get their work done because they felt like they had time. They just felt like, I'll get to it at some point. It doesn't bother me yet. And we were open, so they could go whenever it was an issue. But what COVID showed them was that, hey, we could be shut down, and we might get shut down again. So you might not want to wait this time. So it's uber motivated those people to come on in to see us. So I want to see messages out there in online advertising, in like Google AdWords, SEO and whatnot. I want to see some maybe a direct mail campaign to to get some of the older crowd who still look at stuff in their hands. So stuff like this: call today, get in today, because that's what they're searching. I got to get in somewhere. Where can I go? Doesn't mean I'm going to guarantee I'm going to treat them today, but I'm going to get them in. And once they come in to see me, now they're committed to doing a treatment with me at a later date. I want to let them know we do comprehensive things, because we do at our office. So I'm going to tell them, you don't have to go to 4 or 5 offices to get your dental work done. We do comprehensive care here. There's not much we can't get done on site. That's going to be attractive to this risk tolerant reactive mindset patient. I'm going to let them know they're already committed to going out there to get their hair done, their nails done, going to restaurants and whatnot. So if you're already committed to doing that stuff and they're not taking any real precautions to keep you safe, why wouldn't you come see us? We're going to keep you safe. And so, I feel like right now, some of you are feeling this gap in patient treatment care that's going on. So we have a hygiene gap, right, in our hygiene chair in treatment, because here in the States, we were shut down for 2 months in March and April. Well, now here in October and November, there's nobody in hygiene because we didn't schedule them 6 months ago to come back, right? But many of you are starting to see this gap in your doctor chair. We're running out of those risk tolerant folks. Okay? Whatever, however many you had in your patient base, if you have only been in practice for a couple of years, you definitely ran out of them already. If you've had a practice base for 20 years, you might not have run out of them yet. But if you do some external marketing, you'll attract more of those risk tolerant folks to come in and extend the time you're going to be busy. Because who we're not seeing right now is this other mindset that's been created. It's the risk averse crowd, our proactive folks. Okay. And they are not going to move unless they feel certain about their safety. And right now they don't. Okay. They do not feel safe.
Have you noticed it's more of your geriatric patient base?
It's all over. Okay. It's all over. And it's, age 40 and above. Okay. I see it in every age range. But it's a weird time in history where it's really divided people into 2 buckets. Willing to take a risk tolerant, versus, nah, I'll wait until I feel more secure, feel more safe. So for them, this gap is going to come from when you run out of the risk tolerant folks to when the risk averse folks feel safe coming back in. And it's not yet. So you could go, a month, 2 months, 3 months with a treatment lag if you're not careful. So if we do more internal marketing to our existing risk averse crowd, we need to hit them with messages like, viruses are not new to the dental setting. We've always kept you safe, right? And you mentioned things in the past that they've gone through, like swine flu, avian flu, bird flu, H1N1, SARS, okay? Those are all things that people were at risk before, but we kept them safe in the dental setting, okay? We need to let them know that, if you've invested in technologies and toys and cold fogging and, whatever you're doing, air filtration units to keep patients safe in your office, those people need to see and hear those things. You can't just say, I've taken precautions. You got to show them the precautions that you've taken, so they're going to feel safe coming back in. We need to do things like letting them know, like the risk averse crowd think because they're not going anywhere, that nobody else is going anywhere. So they don't think anybody's coming to your office. When in fact, most of us are slammed right now. So we need we need to share that. It's called social proof consensus. We need to share the fact that no, we're reaching out to you today, not to schedule you an appointment for today, because we couldn't get you in if we had to. We're too busy. We're slammed. I'm just reaching out because I want to get you an appointment for next month. Otherwise, I may not be able to get you until the end of the year. It may be next year before I can see you. So start showing that no, people are coming in, so you should feel safe coming in too. That's social proof. And then use some scarcity of, hey, we don't have a lot of appointments available. That's why I want to lock you in now, because we may run out to the end of the year. I want to let them know that their dental insurance, if they don't use it, they're going to lose it. That's scarcity, right? We care more about what we stand to lose than what we stand to gain. So if they know, wait, what do you mean my insurance is running out? I can't, maybe I should get back in there. I want to plant a seed that says, hey, while you have dental insurance this year, your company, because COVID has crushed so many businesses, is probably going to cut your dental benefit next year because they got to get that revenue back somewhere. And the easiest benefit to cut that nobody would care about is dental insurance. So I think a lot of businesses are going to cut out dental insurance next year. So let our patients know that while you have insurance this year, you may not have it next year if your company cuts it. So why not get in and use your benefit while you can? Kind of thing. So these are some of the messages I want to be hitting our existing patients to try to get them to come back in, to feel safe enough to come back in. And then I may want to do, again, an external marketing campaign, like a postcard campaign or a newsletter campaign, to find more people like that. Like you said, that my crowd is the retirees, the active independent living retirees, age 55 and older, who don't feel safe coming in yet. Okay. But now we can let them know you will be safe and you should come in. So.
Wow. So yeah, from what you're hearing in the crowds, everybody's slammed. We've had some really good couple of months here. These last 2-3 months have been. I was actually very excited again about dentistry and practicing. It's been slammed, but you're right. It's about the reactive scenario as well.
And like I said, it's a false sense of security, and many offices that I've been talking to are starting to feel the gap. They're starting to see that gap in patient care, that nobody's in the doctor's chair, nobody's in the hygiene chair these 2 months. And, I've been trying to warn them ahead of time to do something, these things we were just talked about earlier, to decrease that gap, but it's never too late to start messaging those people and try to get them back in, the risk-averse crowd.
Risk-averse crowd. So you're saying that, I could agree with that. The 3 months or so that we lost in lockdown, you have very well recouped from that by now?
Yeah. The doctors I'm working with from a coaching standpoint are either on pace to collect what they did last year, despite a 2-month shutdown. And many of them, like my offices, are ahead of last year, despite the shutdown. So, and a big part of that's been the reactive folks. Like I've done more implants and dental hybrid arches on patients in these last 3 months than I did in the 3 months prior to COVID.
Oh yeah, that's I can see that. You're doing a lot of full arch prosthetics too. That's awesome. So you're into the implant world as well. You place them, you restore them.
I do.
That's lovely. Chris, you're all over the place. Lots of talent. Very
like talented. I said, entrepreneur that happens to be a pretty good dentist.
Yeah, but implants, you have to get quite a bit of additional CE exposure and,
definitely
the whole trial and error that goes with that.
Yeah.
That's great. So now we're back. COVID is what I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, Chris, is that again the surge is going down. There was a real rush in the office, got really, really busy, but it's starting to quiet back down. So what is next year going to look like? Some say that we're in trouble. A lot of businesses are going to be going belly up. A lot of mortgages are going to go up. What do you think is going to happen to A, dental professionals because of these 2 new mindsets that are out there, and B, for the economy in general that will affect us?
Yeah, well, the good news is, I guess, at least our government has shown that they're willing to step up when we're all affected and support. That was the aid dentistry guide. I know that was huge and saved so many businesses alone. So since they've already committed to doing that, if we're going through something like that again, I think they have to go through and do it again, right, and support us. So I'm not so much worried about that per se. And now that I know the 2 mindsets that will happen in any kind of uncertain situation, maybe it's an economic crisis, maybe it's another virus, maybe it's a who knows what, okay? But it's always going to create those 2 mindsets, risk averse, risk tolerant. I'll know what to do about it sooner than later and how to change my plan accordingly. And I'd like to build practices that are diversified, right? And so I've seen that throughout my career, and that's why we tried to make them comprehensive care clinics. So, we offer specialty type services, right, in house, multiple doctors, expanded hours, all the dental membership plans. So I have something that I can attract people without dental insurance, because in the States 65% of the country do not have dental insurance, but they don't go to the dentist because they don't feel like they can, because they don't have dental insurance. So giving them a membership plan gives them the sense they have insurance and they want to come in. So I do all of these services and procedures to diversify us. So it almost like creates a bubble around us. So it really doesn't matter what happens out there. We're protected. Yeah. So implants and hybrids are up now. Okay. Later on, they're down. Well, some sedations will be up and crowns will be up, or, partials will be up another time. So the more things you offer and do, the more sheltered you're going to be for what comes tomorrow.
That's really good advice. Because at the end of the day, they're not gonna go to China to get their teeth done. There'll always be need for dentists, right?
Yeah, and the truth is, there's your ideal patient, the ones you want the most of, are out there. Okay, but sometimes you got to work a little harder to get them. So especially in times like COVID, and when others are not spending money on marketing, this is the biggest time I'm spending on marketing. Right? When nobody's out there putting their messages, you're stand out. So why wouldn't you put it out there to as many as want to see it right now? Because so I would be marketing no matter what, and then I probably ramp up my marketing during slow times just for that thing. So I know how to make marketing an investment, so I always get back more than what I spent. So I can always find my ideal client and get them into practice. Okay, if you understand the right messages, the right kind of offers to send them your way over others.
So maybe you can help our colleagues out a little bit here for the holiday seasons that are coming up. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year. A lot of people need the extra cash flow. What is the best way, in your opinion, to relay a message to patients that they've been sitting on possibly additional insurance benefits they should probably use up by the end of the year? Any particular strategy for those that want to work through December and November?
Yeah, definitely. This is the time of year, even before COVID, where I'm using the principle of scarcity. Okay. And scarcity is about resources. When resources are dwindling or running out or about to disappear, it really motivates us to want it and to do more to get it, even if we didn't want it to start with. So, an example was like one time in December, I dropped a postcard to my two offices, and it was the use it or lose it postcard. So you're about to lose $1,000 was the headline if you don't use your dental insurance. And so I targeted a list of my patients who had unscheduled treatment and who still had insurance benefit to use. Okay, because you can pull that report from your software. And we did a postcard campaign to each of them. And of course, I had tracking numbers on both ads, so I knew how many people called, what their name was, and I could track what they spent. So I spent about $3,500 on the advertisement, okay, and collected over $40,000 in revenue from those patients specifically just in the month of December alone, right? So a pretty good return on my investment. But it created a problem. The last 2.5 weeks of the year, I couldn't get like 74% of the patients that called my practice. We couldn't get them in. We literally had nowhere to put them. So the
How
next
did you
month,
pull that off anyway? How did you get the postcards did it for you?
yeah, the postcards. We email, which is free, and then a targeted postcard campaign just to those patients, okay, that we pulled our list from. And any direct mail company should be able to do that for you, okay? And
How'd you
what that
compile that list? Was it a open treatment plan type scenario?
open treatment plan and insurance benefit that they haven't tapped into yet for the year based on our records. We pulled that report from our practice management system. And so, the next year I backed it up earlier. I did that postcard in November. And of course, it was a record November at both offices. December still slammed, still couldn't get people in. Then I backed it up to October, record October. November and December still couldn't get people in. So now I drop it September 1st, usually. If we hadn't been so busy, it already would have gone out, but it's going out, November 1st now. But use it or lose it, right? You're about to lose $1,000. There's this thing with scarcity that most people don't know about, that it's called exclusive information. So not only do we care about something that's about to run out, but if we're the first to know something's about to run out and nobody else knows yet, that really amplifies how much we want it and what we'll do for it. Okay. So my lab usually around this time of year sends me a notice that says, FYI, January 1st, your crown fees are going up, right? Their lab fees are going up. So that's my note to myself to remind my team that we got to raise our fees in January to compensate. So I got the idea one year to say, well, maybe that's good information that I should share with patients who have a treatment plan for a crown who haven't come in yet. Maybe they like to know that the price is going to go up and it's not going to be the same. I mean, you think they know that, but they don't. It's not top of mind. So I targeted a list of patients through email and postcard, same thing, who had a crown treatment plan that hadn't moved forward from the whole year. And I said, FYI, my lab has told me that their lab fees are going up in January, which means my crown fees are going up $200 in January. So I know you got a treatment plan for a crown. It's going to be $200 more if you wait till next year. Okay. Now, if you want to get in sooner before the end of the year, we have limited appointments available. We'll try to get you in, and I can honor that price I gave you. If not, it'll be next year and the price goes up. Oh, and by the way, you're one of the first I reached out to let you know that my crown fees are going up. So I'm going to give you about a week to call and schedule before I let the rest of my 3,000 patients in our database know that our crown fees are going up. Hopefully we'll see you soon. So letting them know you're the first to know these things are about to go up. And then I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to give you a certain amount of time. Then I'm going to tell all my patients this. It's going to motivate more people who are really interested in saving and getting that thing done to not wait, right? This I got time phenomenon. They think, I'll get to it. It's going to let them know I don't have time. I better move now. And you do that, folks, I guarantee you, your schedules will be slammed the last 2 months of the year.
That's very, very smart. So you write the ones that have open treatment plans, a customized letter. That's a lot of work, no?
No, it's a postcard.
You're going to do it with a postcard.
Yeah, your direct mail. I mean, the email's easy, and that just goes out one time. But then the postcard company just transfer the content from the email and make it out a postcard, and then give them your list, and they'll mail it. So
lovely, great idea. So we can finish up the year with a bang, and just forget about what happened in 2020, right?
That's it. Just get ready once the year's done. Hopefully, you're on pace to at least be close to where you were last year, match last year, or sometimes maybe beat it. And then get ready to set the new GPS come January and set new goals.
So I mean, did you see the wild, crazy information exchange that was going on during COVID? Everybody had all of these opinions about how dental offices should be restructured and have suction systems, and then what happened to all that? I mean, there's so much information, so much good and so much bad information out there.
Right. Well, I think what killed that is that it's still people are unsure. There's no definitive answer. There's no definitive proof. So again, in times of uncertainty, people look to the crowd. They look to people in their community, their friends, their Facebook group, their WhatsApp group, right, for answers. They look to trusted sources like the CDC and the ADA and the whatever to tell them what we should do, and the authority figures, if you will. But here we have authority figures who are spread across the board. They can't even agree, right? You got the CDC saying this, you got the WHO saying they shouldn't come see us. The ADA is like, the hell? Of course you should come see us. This is not new. You're not at risk. Okay. So people are looking to these trusted authority agencies, and they can't even make a decision. So it's like, how can I? I'm a customer. So a lot of this stuff is just falling by the wayside because nobody can decide. Nobody's certain. So, and in times of uncertainty, people don't do anything. They don't move.
Yeah, I just sort of put my head down and kept practicing,
Yep.
And yeah, it does work. It does work. So this is a great session. You'd make a great consulting. I'm not sure how much time you still have in your schedule. You used to work practice 5 days a week. What are you doing now?
Now I'm down to 2 days a week.
See, a lot of people that I meet that come also on the show or have asked questions on the show usually want to find a path to have some sort of situation. Now, I used to own 6 offices, and I'm down to practicing only 3 days a week, and you're doing 2. And I do a lot of other ventures as well. But the question for them is, how can we do less dentistry? Some want to do less dentistry and more business side of things. What would you say to those guys? Where do you start? How do you engage that community?
Well, it starts with there's a couple ways to do it. Obviously, you can be more productive with the time that you do have. So yeah, I'm only there 2 days a week, but I'm producing at that level where most dentists, are producing 5 days a week. You know, but I'm doing that in two but I'm doing bigger things. Like I'm doing $30,000 arches. You do 5, 10 of those a month, and not a bad couple of days work. To do that.
Yeah, but I mean, you're good at it. A lot of times, those cases turn into marriages that take everything back at the end.
Well,
And then,
that comes, yeah, knowing your limits and case selection is everything, and just being confident. So when you get yourself in a position where you don't feel like you have to take every case, then suddenly you look at everything with a different lens, and you become more objective in the cases that you do take. So for most of the practices, I think for me it was more um, trying to make my offices independent of me, meaning I try to get to a point where I had enough associates and everybody was working where I was making enough income that I didn't have to work, right? I didn't have to see patients, treat patients. So that anytime I did, it was just icing on the cake. It was just gravy, which made it a lot more enjoyable for me and took pressure off of me from when I felt like I had to work 5 days a week or 4 days a week. And when you build up a good, strong team, and like I said, I use that Colby concept for my team. So I know what kind of car they are. And I know I've got them all working and driving in the lane they need to be driving in. And I empower them to do things, right? To run some of those day-to-day things and make decisions that don't really need me, right? And I don't have to stick my head in and keep micromanaging and telling them what to do. So when I learned how to influence my team to get stuff done, that took a lot off my plate as well, right? So I didn't get sucked into every discussion and doc, why isn't the current light working? I don't know. Does anybody charge it? Oh, probably not. Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you really need me for that to help you figure that out? So getting them to that point where they didn't keep bringing every little problem to me was a big one as well. And getting my autonomy of time. And it comes from, for most of you, you got to schedule time. So, a day a month, right? And then hopefully you get to 2 days a month and then a day a week as a planning day. And all you're doing is proactively, no distractions from the team and whatnot, proactively thinking about your practice and your clinical skills and the procedures you want to do and how to get to your goals was a huge way to get and catalyst to get you on that path faster and get you there. But if you're always reactive, right? If you're always problem, crap, now what? Let's figure it out, right? You're always reacting to things. You never have enough time to see the forest from the trees. You never have enough time to see things coming and make small changes today so it doesn't affect you tomorrow, so to speak. So just protecting your time and getting that planning day, even once a month, and proactively now thinking about your practice as a business is a huge step all of you guys could take, and you should see results.
that's lovely. That's also lovely advice. 17 years, you went from getting settled in with your office, and then you started helping doctors. That's a very good model to go by. What's your take on corporations and dentistry? How is
Yeah,
that?
it's interesting. So, and that's one of the things I've been thinking a lot about because I'm more of a forward thinker. I'm thinking about, a year from today, 5 years from today, 10 years from today, sometimes at the expense of being here today because I look ahead too much. But looking at patterns, looking at trends and seeing how things shake out. And of course, nothing's 100% certain, but I do think when the dust settles, that the majority of the practices out there will be group practices. So they'll be corporate owned, corporate managed, or there'll be dentist owned, dental managed group practices. Okay. And I think the DSOs, the corporate run ones, will be the biggest majority of those, and the minority will be the dental owned ones. And then the other minority, and I don't know if we're talking 51%, 49%. I don't know if it's 60-40. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably around a third, 2/3. Would be the breakdown.
I
2/3.
think it's good for the profession, though.
Huh?
I mean, the second scenario I like, dentists owning, doctors actually owning, and having, maybe a couple of satellite offices and all that. But do you think it has been a good thing for the profession of what's been going on with the corporates?
Obviously not for those doctors that were affected by it. But I think change is good all around. So indirectly, I say, yeah, because anytime we get too complacent in what we're doing, anytime we get stuck in the way it's always been done, right, and we're afraid to change because of that, that's not a good thing. The only thing constant in life is that we need to change. We need to adapt. We need to innovate, okay, to keep things going. And if we just sit around getting fat and happy, then guess what? That's those are the pigs that get slaughtered, so to speak. So I think we were ripe for it for a long time, and somebody just finally tapped into a weakness that we've had, a vulnerability that's been in our profession for the last 20 years. I think the next generation, those coming out of school now and whatnot, have a totally different opportunity than when I came out of school, when you came out of school, right? It was like the golden age of dentistry for us when we got out. And now these kids, I mean, I feel bad for them. It's like doom and gloom is all they're hearing, but there's still plenty of opportunities to be independent of the corporate groups, to come up with new business ideas. I mean, now look at virtual consultations. I mean, you could literally make $3,000 a day just talking to people on a virtual consult and charging exam fees and diagnosing, communicating, and referring. I mean, that's not a bad way to sit around the house in my underwear and make some money, So I think it's going to open up new business models that people hadn't thought of in the past. So there should be something for everyone.
What platform are people using for these kind of ventures that you know of, dentists?
I don't as far as I can tell, there's not one HIPAA compliant one that's really established itself that I know of as the leader right now, because with the government laxing their regulations, so you can, with HIPAA, so you can do a Zoom consult, you can do a Skype consult with patients now, even though those aren't HIPAA certified. That's kind of delayed it, right? But once the government comes back and says, no, you can't use those platforms anymore, we need to get HIPAA going again to protect privacy. Somebody's going to stand out. I'm working with a company called Dial Care to try to help them launch their platform. I think it's going to be a good platform to launch. I'm sure there's plenty of others out there, but I want to work with a HIPAA compliant one now, just so when they put the handcuffs back on us, it's not going to hurt what I'm doing, affect what I'm doing. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. Things are going virtual. I don't know if you saw the ADA conference or if you participated in it. I saw some amazing photos of essentially digital booths where you're feeling like you're in a conference.
Yeah.
And they'd have live representative. They'll discuss their products and services with you. And it's pretty cool stuff. It's changing the world. You traveled a lot. You lectured a lot. I was religiously going to conferences from New York to Chicago to Miami to California, nonstop for over 10 years. It was good. There was a certain element of camaraderie when you went to those things. But again, to not be able to do it from the convenience of your home and get the scoop of everything that's new in the market and the people that are there, and because a lot of companies come and go every year, and it's kind of cool. It's neat. Saves a lot on travel expenses.
It's interesting, and I'm curious to see if they claim that the meeting was a success, and if they can provide some data on that to justify it. All the people that are doing virtual meetings, because like everything else, there's good things about it and there's bad things about it. I definitely think that from the user experience, it's convenient. I know for me, I love speaking at virtual things because then I can be home more, right? It's kind of nice. Sure. And I don't have to, I love interacting with the people. Once I'm there, it's just the travel is what gets you more than anything. But from a person watching it, whenever you take the time to go someplace, right, you make more of a commitment by doing so, because you're taking time off of work, you're leaving whoever, okay, you're dedicating this time to do that. Your focus and attention is 100% present on where you're at in that moment, right? And therefore, you're going to get the most out of it. You're going to learn the most, you're going to bring the most home, etc. When we're doing these things online right now and virtual, and we're doing it at home, you didn't really commit to it. Not really. And that's one of Cialdini's principles, the consistency principle. And we don't tend to follow through with things we don't really commit to. Okay. So plus factor in distraction. Your kids are running around. You're going to go get a sandwich. You're just bored of sitting here. How many people have already checked Facebook because they're tired of hearing me right now, right? They're like, oh, what's going on over here? They got FOMO about something else. So every time your focus is distracted and pulled somewhere else, you're missing out on something. right? And you're less likely to learn and implement it and actually use it. So while it's easier to get the information, I'll be curious to see, is it productive? Are people actually going to be able to do something with it? And the truth of the matter is, on the majority, I don't think they will. I think there's always going to be a place when we can travel again and whatnot, for in-person meetings, and trainings and whatnot. It's just human nature, unfortunately, and that commitment piece.
We'll have to see how that all turns out. So let me put in here, Chris. What's the best way of our audience members? I really appreciate your time today. That was really informative. Actually, in fact, I will be implementing some of the tips and tricks that you have revealed to us, and I'll report back to you on how that works, especially over the holidays, because I will be in town. I will be in the practice. Is the Gmail address the good one, Dr. Chris?
No. Send me an email at Chris, CHRIS, at drphelpshelps.com. So DRCHRIS, or sorry, DRPHELPS, Dr. Phelps Helps. So Chris at drphelpshelps.com. Because that email goes to me and it goes to my project manager. So if people are interested in any of my online trainings for marketing or case acceptance, coaching, I've got so much stuff, clinical trainings, scheduling service, right? Membership plan stuff. Then I can let you know. She can help you with all that stuff, and she'll get you a nice discount if you mention that you saw me on the Podnar today. Yep, there we go. Perfect.
So I put the email address out there. Chris is very easy to work with. It's been a pleasant ordeal. Hopefully, we can have you back on the show next year.
Definitely.
And you can give us some updates. I think 2021 is going to be a good one for everybody, especially in our field. And I really appreciated your knowledge, information, and time. I encourage the audience to reach out to you because you're an expert in the field and you help a lot of doctors. And you're bound to be in their country, hopefully, one of these days soon.
That's right.
With your software, we're cheering for you. And thank you so much, Doctor, for your time and wisdom and knowledge.
Hey, thank you. And I appreciate you having me on. And thanks for everybody for watching.
And don't hesitate to call Doc. It's really easy to work with. I personally, myself, I'm excited to implement some of these things because, yes, persuasion is, at the end of the day, half the equation.
It's all about communication. And what you think people are using to make their decision is not what they're using. So when you understand it and you change your strategies accordingly, everything changes.
Fantastic. All right, Doc, thank you so much. I wish you a great Sunday, and we look forward to having you back on the show.
I appreciate it, man. Until next time.
Thanks.